I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'd like to call the meeting to order. May I have approval of the agenda?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. John Akam, could you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Would you all please rise? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, John. We're now at the point on the agenda for announcements and recognitions. Melissa Badger, could you please join us at the podium? Announcements and recognitions.
Did you want me to read the announcements first?
You know, I thought we'd switch it up a bit tonight, but since it's posted that way, let's go forward with you, Mr. Rand. And could you lead us with tonight's announcements and
Hey,
recognitions?
I'm ready. All right.
Swear in the re-elected board members.
Coming up this Friday, April 25th, our City of Beloit Arbor Day celebration will be held at Horace White Park. We will have a program of speakers and special presentations, including the participation of our district students. The ceremony begins at 10 a.m. Also on Friday, April 25th at 6 p.m., the BMHS Environmental Club is teaming up with the Welty Environmental Center for their 4th annual live animal show. The Racine Zoo will be presenting a show on the wildlife of Wisconsin. Tickets are just $5 at the door. Children 3 and younger get in for free. On Saturday, April 26th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., the BMHS Environmental Club will be part of a community-wide Earth Day celebration in Riverside Park. There will be many nature displays and free activities for the kids, making this a very family-friendly event. We are currently looking for volunteers to help time events at our annual 4th and 5th grade track meets at Beloit Memorial High School. Dates are Tuesday, May 20th and Wednesday, May 21st, 11:45 a.m. to 2:45 p.m. You can choose to do one day or two, whatever your schedule allows. Sign-up information is located in the announcements on our webpage, beloitschools.net. Plans are being made for the annual School District of Beloit BEA retirement reception set for June 1st from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Beloit Country Club. The event is open to the public, and we hope you'll join us to celebrate the years of service these staff members have given to the students of Beloit. Details will be posted on our district homepage, beloitschools.net. This concludes April's announcements.
Thank you, Mark. I now have my glasses on. I can see the agenda properly, and all the sugar from the cake isn't running through my veins quite as fast. So we're back on track, and that does move us now to announcements and recognitions. And the first one that we do have is the swearing in of our re-elected board members. At this point, I'll turn it over to our clerk, Missy Henderson, please.
I think we will walk down there and you can sign in front of me and then I'll swear you in. How's that sound? So bring your little sheet of paper. Here's a pen.
We need 3 forms of ID.
Two federally issued.
Discharge. the duties of said office
the duties of said office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you and congratulations. We will now move forward with recognitions for this evening. Melissa Badger, could you now please join us?
Thank you. We have a couple great recognitions for you tonight, and we're starting with someone who has been a friend and mentor and professional for us as we work with children in the School District of Beloit and are very concerned about their health and wellness. So I'd like to call up to the podium Dr. Gary Adamski and our nurse coordinator, Tammy Flanders, and I think we have a couple other nurses. No.
Hi there. Like Melissa said, I'm Tammy Flanders. I'm the school health coordinator for the district. And I just want to personally and professionally on behalf of the district, thank you for your commitment and your professionalism that you have brought to our students, not only to make our schools safer for our students, but the community a safer place as well. You volunteered your time, your knowledge. We very much appreciate that. Your kindness, your patience. We're going to miss you. And yeah, we're very lucky to have you for these last 13 years.
Well, if I might say something, I know I wasn't supposed to say anything,
No,
but
yes.
I can't help it. I want to thank you all for the recognition tonight, but in reality, I think the people that need to be recognized are the nursing staff that I worked with over those 13 years. They're truly the people that did all the work, and I might say they did it very diligently. They had showed me a lot of caring when we had those meetings and discussed various children. So I really appreciated that over the course of time, and I think they are the people that truly need to be recognized. I only offered advice from time to time. So thank you.
Well, great advice. So thank you.
Before you go, Dr. Adamski, before you go, we have a little something for you. On behalf of the School District of Beloit and Board of Education, we give you a certificate of appreciation in recognition of the many years of dedicated service in guiding the School District of Beloit as medical advisor with your expertise as a highly esteemed member of the pediatric profession.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
John Aiken, please.
13 years is a very long time, and it has been a great 13 years to have you as our advisor. We appreciate it. I think that before I got on the school board, you were in your position because you've been doing this a lot longer than I have, and you found yourself planted in the middle of a firestorm called human growth and development, and you survived that, and you continued to stay with us, and I think that's marvelous. And so we thank you, and we really appreciate it.
And John Winkelman, please.
Let me just add, I think, since I've been on the board, we often end up at a conversation around health and wellness and health and kids. And I often heard from staff that'd be, well, let's go back and see what Dr. Adamski has to say. And most of the time, the board all went, yeah, that's a really good idea. Okay, good. Do that. And so you made our lives immensely easier because we knew that you and the nursing staff had the best interest of kids at heart. And with that, we can't go wrong. So thank you so much for doing this for so long.
Melissa.
And for our next recognition, we have a group of schools that had done very well in our United Way campaign. As we know, this is a huge campaign for our community. It's the first time we've joined with United Way of Rock County, Northern Rock County. So here to help present is the executive director of the organization, Steve Kincaid.
Thank you, Melissa. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. It is a pleasure to always come out and personally thank the thousands of donors who support the annual Community Fund Drive effort. And it's my pleasure tonight to recognize 3 of your school buildings who had an exceptional campaign. And if I can call those representatives up, if they're available. We have Hackett and Morgan School. Those two organizations are being recognized with the Bronze Award, and the Bronze Award represents 40% participation and a $50 per capita giving from all of the instructors in their building. And then in the other school, the third school is Cunningham, and Cunningham receives the silver recognition. That's for 50% participation and a $75 per capita for all of the members in that particular school building. So on behalf of the United Way of the Black Hawk region, I certainly want to thank and acknowledge you and all your associates for their giving in the 2013-2014 campaign. Tell you how much your efforts mean to us. Collectively, the United Way system now, since we've had the merger, will serve over 100,000 people in the greater Rock County area. So your dollars do work year-round to build a stronger community, and this is just one example of the generosity of the school system that helps support this endeavor. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And it goes to show that the schools really are the heart of the community, and we're really pleased to be a part of the United Way campaign. And so here for the Bronze Award, we have Morgan School. We have the Silver Award, and then as well as the 100% Participation Award to Cunningham School. Okay. Okay, and Hackett School, I have to say, they received the Bronze Award, but also the 100% Participation Award, and this is significant because Hackett has consistently given 100% participation for their employees over the past 15 or 16 years. It's a huge accomplishment to get everybody to participate in this important campaign. So we really want to congratulate
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And with this, let's move forward then to the citizens or delegations. If there's anybody here with us this evening that would like to speak to any item that is not formally posted on tonight's agenda, I would ask that you rise and approach the podium. Again, if there's anyone who would like to speak to anything that is not posted on tonight's agenda, please rise and approach the podium. Seeing none, let's move forward then with Superintendent's report to the board. Steve, please.
As usual, we have 2 different schools that are going to present out to the board, kind of the state of Morgan and the state of RCAA tonight. So Tina Hansen from Morgan Elementary.
I have to thank Melissa and Dean for setting me up here. Nothing like anxiety with technology before you speak. It's truly an honor to be able to present the highlights of Morgan Elementary School and to be able to serve as that representative for Morgan Elementary School. One of the efforts that we do at Morgan, and I have to say all of our efforts truly do represent our district initiatives and support the strong leadership and the board leadership, and we simply service that. PBIS, Positive Behavior Intervention System, is tremendous in being able to set high expectations for Morgan. Since we are the Morgan Stars, we chose to use STAR expectations, and this serves as a basis for helping us establish the culture and learning environment of our community. Each week, we celebrate strong character, and all students are given awards for their strong character that they exhibit. That's a little sensitive there. Let's see. There we go. The programs that we use to enhance achievement are programs that, again, are initiatives of our district, and we use those to heighten the achievement of our students, and I'm sure you're familiar with all of them, and the newest being our inclusive-based program. We do a lot of co-teaching, and we have the iPad initiative that we're fully integrating into the curriculum. Celebrating literature is something that we definitely incorporate across all curriculum. We engage students in a highly interactive learning environment, and students are always collaboratively working together, and here you'll see an example of the storyboards that they do through their literature circles. We bring in community members and use our staff people. You probably recognize Mrs. Loescher, always listening to students read and providing that one-on-one. Reading circles where we gather, and we won't have to worry about gathering in the hallways at the new school, but we gather in all the creative spaces that we have available to us. And through these initiatives, we look at our student achievement. And currently, what our district has done over time was we provide the MAP assessment to children, our measure of academic progress. And it's a highly nationally recognized assessment where it represents more than 2,200 partners that are districts throughout our nation. And in that representation, we have over 3 million children that are being represented. So it's a nationally norm reference test that's highly valid and reliable. And this is a little shadowed for you, so hopefully you have that information for you in your packet. But what our goal is to either meet or exceed the national RIT score. And the RIT score is a scale of academic achievement, similar to height. When you measure your child's height developmentally, as we took our children to Dr. Damsky, he'd tell me if they were in the norm or they weren't in the norm. Well, this is an achievement scale, and RIT does measure that. And we're really excited to see our level of achievement as we compare apples to apples, our children this fall to children this winter. And we're currently in the spring assessment time frame, which flew by pretty quickly. And you'll see on top, under the heading, that the national norm level mean is 203.2. And Morgan, for our fourth graders in reading, scored at 203.2. So we were really tremendously excited about that. For our fifth grade, the national norm level mean RIT is 209.8, and Morgan scored at 209.1. So a respectable range. One thing that you'll note is that our standard deviation for our district, and it is a little shadowed there, is 14.8. It's quite a significant range of standard deviation. So it really shows the range of needs that we provide for. So that highly differentiated curricular approach is so important in meeting the needs of all of our children. In order to do that, we have highly skilled professional educators that we bring on board. And my own children graduated from Beloit schools, and I'm truly honored with the great career path they're seeking as a result of their high school education and continued education. Our biggest challenge that the WKCE indicated that we needed to address was closing the achievement gap. And that's a challenge that all schools face, and we're real excited to see the results of this. Our African American student population not only met, and if I can point you to the lower graph, the diamond is the projected rate of growth that this norm assessment projected. So the diamond is the actual growth projection that they challenged us to meet. The blue line is our actual mean. So not only did we meet the projected growth rate according to where our students were currently performing, but we exceeded it. So our African American population for grade 4 met it, and we ended up at the 162.2 percentile. Grade 5, 175.9 percentage points. what was scored for our projected growth. Now 100% is what you want to meet or exceed. So we always want to meet or exceed that growth. Caucasian, as you can see, grade 4, 184.4%, and grade 5, 200%. So we not only met it, but we doubled the growth rate that they projected for our students, which is really excited based on the initiatives that our district has shown us. Hispanic population, grade 4, 169.4% growth rate, and grade 5, 163.3%. So a respectable growth rate based on the leadership and professional educators and excited learning opportunities for our children. We love to celebrate. We always look for reasons to celebrate. And in order to do that, we finally realized what the secret was. Get your children excited about what they're doing, and parents will come. And so every time we have a celebration and invite our families, with this reconfiguration, we actually have more family attendance for 4th and 5th graders than we ever had for K4 through 5. And that's because when you get 4th and 5th graders excited, they can truly market and sell what needs to be promoted. As families came, we showed them all the different initiatives that we're doing for math. We taught them different activities. We were able to bring out the iPad initiative, and students were teaching parents, as my students continue to teach me, all the technology advancements. With these different initiatives for math, you can see, and this is what we're real excited about for math, the national norm grade level, mean RIT, is 208.7. Morgan 4th grade students performed at 209.3. So we exceeded the national growth expectation. Our 5th graders, the national norm grade level RIT is 217.8, and our Morgan mean RIT is 217, so very respectable. Closing the achievement gap as it relates to math. Again, if I can direct you to the graph toward the bottom, the diamond is what they projected our growth rate to be. The blue line is what our actual growth rate was. And as you can see, the differentiation between our ethnic groups, again, very respectable growth, exceeding the growth expectations, with our African American population being the highest, Caucasian, and then also our Hispanic population exceeded that. Again, we look for reasons to celebrate, so each season we celebrate the accomplishments and the traditions of each event. For our fall celebrations, we brought on fall traditions, harvesting, different foods, and brought in parent volunteers to support that. Girls Who Rock is a tremendous event that Girl Scouts bring in. 45 of our 5th grade girls came together and learned strong character traits, resiliency, and in the end, we're able to put on a celebration and a performance for family members. Taste of Wisconsin, we really get into this. Parents bring in their favorite Wisconsin foods, little green and gold, definitely some cheese and cheese heads, ice cream. Veterans Day, we have a lot of our local veterans come in that we honor. We do a ceremony at the end of the day where everyone gathers around the flag for the flag lowering. Patriotism is something that we acknowledge every day. We have our own veteran who's our crossing guard that raises and lowers the flag with our students. And as you can see, he's also our national crossing guard, so we celebrate him and thank him. Lots of community involvement, parent partnership and community involvement is key, and you'll see that there's truly never enough events that we can do to support the community partnerships that we do have. Celebrating the fine arts is something we're very fortunate to bring forth in our children. Band is a highly participated area along with orchestra. The arts Our musical productions definitely touch the hearts of everyone. Student Council provides, we do a penny war, and we provide holiday gift baskets for our own Morgan family members and distribute those right before Christmas. Our parent survey, I think we're our hardest critic. When we get our parent surveys back, we're extremely happy with the results. Their belief that Morgan provides a safe, secure, respectful environment for all children, that Morgan educators truly care for their child, and parents feel that they are active participants in their children's education, and that they believe that their calls are responded to in an efficient time frame and with respect. Parents report and express that the school gives positive information about their students, and parents feel positive. We have one parent that we didn't make real happy, but we were extremely impressed with the very high standard of expectations. Not only were these satisfactory, these were exceptional kinds of responses. We do our parent survey after our winter parent-teacher conferences, so we get a high percentage rate of our parents, and we were real pleased with the Hispanic representation we had. Have to celebrate winter. And as you can see, snowman building was definitely something that we were able to enjoy quite a bit of. And then again, the festivities. Star Blast. By the time January comes, we're looking for something that can really boast the motivation and energy for our students. And the students that attend Star Blast are those students that exhibit strong character consistently, day in and day out. And we have a purple coded system for Purple Nights. And the students come in and we recruit our own DJs, which happen to be our teachers. And we tell the kids we're rock stars, and they actually believe us. And we really let loose and have a good time. We had a fine arts festival in February where our jazz band came and performed for us. The Aldridge Drama Club came and performed excerpts of Fame. We had community members, doodles, pottery, support from downtown. We designed our own, we painted our own oil canvas. So we have all of our students that have their stroke of oil on the canvas. And then we just had some fun with different props and took pictures. Wax Museum. If you haven't been to our all fourth grade students, 100 fourth grade students pick their favorite biography, and they actually look to writing a research report, and students come through. I see some people who are parents that have actually been a part of this, and they speak the whole background of this famous person that they admire, and we get quite a gathering of guests that come to listen to them. Take Your Child to Work Day is coming up yet this week, and we have great cooperation with that. In fact, one of our students recommended she wrote me a pretty sweet note, and she said, Mrs. Hanson, what about Take Your Parent to School Day? And, if we can't go to our parents' work, can we bring them to school with us? And I thought, what a cool idea. And Teacher Appreciation, we're already planning for that and planning breakfast items for that. And Secretary's Day, celebrating that tomorrow and eating. So we look for, again, all reasons to eat. Our staff survey, the culture within our building is so critical. Our staff overall truly feel that we have a positive, healthy culture where students are consistently treated with respect, communicated with effectively, engaged in shared decision-making, and collaboratively support one another to meet the academic, social, emotional needs of all of our students. And then, last but not least, we're preparing for our upcoming track meet. We rehearse that next week, so not only do we read, write, and do arithmetic, we run. So thank you so much for listening to that. And we were fortunate enough to be able to go to state this year for DI, so we're excited about that. Thanks so much.
I just want to point out, you have the opportunity to be in all of the schools quite often. And tonight, earlier in the special board meeting, there was a lot of talk about school culture. And I just not very sure there's many principals that do it as well as Tina Hansen. So she creates a tremendous culture with her staff and students. So congratulations, Tina.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to follow. Well, I am honored to come and brag on Roy Chapman Andrews Academy. And we're we're a very unique school in that we're a charter school, public charter school for the school district. And we serve students from 6th grade until 12th grade. So we have had quite a year. It has been a time of change, of growth, reflection, soul searching, and discovery. When I came over to Roy Chapman Andrews, I really didn't know much about it. Kind of like when I went into the 4K program, I was thinking 4th grade. I didn't really know much about it. So lots of learning this year, not only from myself, but also from our staff. We started out with a new principal, me. We had a new secretary. We had a new advisor, which for our small staff was 50% of our staff was brand new. We had some governance board changes right out of the gate. We started our year with 61 students. 32 of those students were brand new, and 29 were returning from last year. Our year started with 4 advisors. We had some fresh paint and a lot of questions. When I first walked into Roy Chapman Andrews, when I knew that I was going to be going over there, it looked like a great big computer lab when I came in, and it was not too appealing. So we moved some things around, put some paint on the wall, and well, it was a little bit better. Currently, we have 64 students. 35 of them are new, and then the 29 returning. Throughout the year, we've matriculated 15 students. 12 students have left and 15 have come in, and the 12 that have left, they've either went to homeschool or they went to homebound. We had a couple students were ill, went to homebound. We had a few students moved out of the district. Then I think we had 5 that went to their home schools, either because of transportation or just because it was a better fit. We ended up in October with 3 advisors instead of 4 advisors. We lost one of our high school advisors in October. And then in January, we hired 2 interventionists to come in and help us out. We hired Cindy Bolins, who was a retired math teacher from McNeil. And we hired Sue France, who was a retired English language arts teacher from the high school. We implemented one-to-one iPads. All of our students were given a device to take home with them. We completely changed our learning spaces around. That's what we're doing right now, changing our learning spaces around. We're doing lots of planning for next year. We have lots of anticipation and excitement. So different when you're by yourself and you're rehearsing it, and then when you stand in front of people, it's like, ah! Okay, our current data shows that we have 95% attendance rate, and that actually it's even higher than that. We've had a few of our kids who went to homebound who were very sick, and this attendance data reflects their absences. So our kids attend. They come every day, all the time. We've got really good attendance. Hardly any behavior problems at all, just a handful of behavior. We do restorative justice. If we have any issues between our kids, we bring them in, we problem solve, we take responsibility for our behavior, and then we restore the harm that was done. So we have a really cool culture. Our kids get along beautifully. Our WKCE data showed that we were 31.5% proficient in reading, 34.2 in math. While maybe that looked better than the other secondary schools, we're still not satisfied with that. We know we could do a lot better. Our MAP scores at the middle school level showed an average growth of 3.8 points, which is really good because it's a 3.0 projected point growth. The reading average for middle school growth was 3.0 points, and 2.0 is projected. Our math average for high school was 3.0 points, which is the average expected growth. And our reading average for high school showed no growth. It went flat, and we were really bothered by that. A lot of our high school kids are already at grade level or above grade level. They're really good readers, but they were just really flat at MAPS, and we were very, very discouraged by that. So what did we do with some of our data and some of the things that we are experiencing at Roy Chapman? We have continuous PLCs. Our staff meets together all the time. We are constantly talking and looking at our practice and trying to figure out who we want to be, where we want to go, how can we be better, how can we be relevant, innovative. So we're constantly in PLCs, in addition to the scheduled ones that we have with district and the scheduled ones we have on Friday. So we're just constantly talking practice. There's a lot of passion to be really good at what we do. I sent some of our staff to a personal learning plan workshop, and that was a workshop to help our staff to be able to really help design personal learning plans for every individual student in our care. We sent staff to a project-based learning institute that was put on by the Buck Institute. They were sent to Madison. They came home excited, energized about the possibilities and ways that they could really up our quality of project-based learning. We are called a project-based learning school, but I don't think that we have done a really good job of being project-based learning, but we're going to. We all went to a Wisconsin Innovative Schools Network conference on innovation, which was super exciting. We met with schools from all across the state on innovation. So many wonderful things are happening across the state in just doing different things for kids, because while traditional school and certainly the school district of Beloit is doing amazing things, not all children fit in this large environment. Some children need a smaller environment. They learn differently. And so there's schools that are really incubating all over the state that are coming up with new and innovative ideas, and being able to part with them, to share ideas, to hear what they had to say was really exciting for all of us. We've done some book studies this year. We've actually done 3 book studies. We did, let me see what I got written down. Reinventing Project-Based Learning, The Big Picture, Leaders of Their Own Learning. So we're really trying to learn more about our practice and tapping into some other resources to do so. A lot of reflective practice, research, networking, talking to, like I had just said, people from other school districts, and really trying to make some connections. So that's what the staff has done. How about our students? Cindy Bolins, like I said, math intervention. We looked at all of our MAPS data, looked at the strands, looked at where we were weak, where we were strong, who was weak, who was strong, and we created groups dependent on that data. So she comes in 2 days a week, and she works with small groups of kids on specific skill building. Our reading interventionist, Sue France, she does a reading or writing workshop, and she's been getting the kids up performing and speaking and writing plays and acting them out. Our individual PLPs, we've really been, when we're looking at a kid, if they're struggling in a certain area, we're looking at what they're doing, and then we're trying to accommodate their learning plan to better meet their needs. The teachers, in addition to the interventionists, are also holding math groups and reading groups. And then additionally, we've got 16 or 17 of our high school kids going over to the high school for coursework. We're different in that we just have 3 advisors. That's all we have in our building. And these 3 teachers are responsible for every academic need that their students have. So we've got about a ratio of Scott at the end there's got 27 kids in his high school. Sarah and James have 20 each. But they're responsible for math, for English, for science, for social studies. They're responsible for enrichment, electives, for interventions, for after-school tutoring, for supervision. I mean, they do it all. They're the counselors. They're everything, because this is all that we have in our building to meet all of the needs that these students have. And I got to tell you, I am so proud of each and every one of them for what they have done this year and how they have handled me and the changes, and I have been on them. When I first came in and I started to learn about the practice of project-based learning and a charter school, I was really frustrated. I wasn't very impressed. I knew what the potential could be and where we could go with it, but I just found our practices falling short a little bit. So we really had lots of very courageous, strong conversations, and they were wonderful because they too want to be great. They want to do a really good job. So I have to give a huge shout out to James Jobe. He was our new hire this year. Sarah Palumbo, this was her 2nd year, and Scott Klein, he'd been in the program for several years, and he will at the end of this year be moving on. But I'm really proud of the job that they did this year in working with students and trying to create a better learning space for our kids. So what is our practice? We're a small community of learners. We're project-based, student-driven. We have one-to-one technology. We're the only building in the district that allows our kids to take the devices home. It's been pretty successful. We've had one theft, and we've had probably 3 screens that have cracked. But other than that, we haven't had too much difficult. Once in a while, we find inappropriate things on the device. We did you know how you do backpack checks in the high school? Well, we did a iPad check. And so we knew some things were going on. We called all of the iPads in, and then we checked them all out. And those students that showed that they were not using them appropriately, we wiped them clean. And we took away their ability to download things that they wanted to. It's been a learning experience, that's for sure. We are aligned with Common Core state standards. The curriculum is really built around standards, and they have to reflect the knowledge of those standards when they do a project presentation. We are really a family, a very close family, and we're working to build more community partnerships. These are just some pictures. Picture shows 1,000 words. Up in the left-hand corner, you have Miss Beth Clark there, and she's got all of the kids gathered around her, and I think that was at the beginning stages of our implementation, and she's kind of sharing the do's and don'ts of using the iPad. Over to the far right, Daphne, she's drawing a wolf. One of her independent projects was to create a mural in our hallway. It was a long white hallway, boring, and she wanted to jazz it up a little bit, so she had to write an essential proposal to say why she wanted to do it, what she needed to learn, what tools, resources she needed to gather to herself to be able to do it. So that's her working on her wolf. The Beloit Cancer Center, one of our gals wanted to do an independent project on the cancer center. She wanted to know what patients experienced when they went to the new center, so she went and she took a tour around it, and she did a real nice presentation on what's taking place in that beautiful building. Over to the right, Mr. Job was teaching the kids about friction in science. And so he took 2 phone books and he inlaid them page, and then he hung them, and then he hung by them. And it was a pretty good demonstration, and it really showed the laws of friction. The bottom one to the left is a student and her mom. We had them come in when we got the iPad so that the families could see what the kids were going to be working on, and they did some activities together, and it was a really nice intro event. The next page here, the top to the left, those are 2 math groups. So you've got James at the top and Sarah at the bottom. They've got kids gathered around them. They're sitting at a whiteboard table. We do our math on Alex Math. And Alex Math it has its faults, but it really has proven to do a nice job with our kids. So there they are working together on Alex Math. The far right-hand corner, I believe Mr. Job is doing an intro activity with, I think, an English language arts activity. In that back fish hole, or fishbowl we call it, it's all glass, there is a college student who came and is doing a seminar on Edgar Allan Poe poetry. The college came and they did different seminars with our kids the first semester. Down in the far right, you see many of our students working together, collaborating, helping each other out. And then on the left, just a group of our kids from one of the advisors. The original mission of RCAA, I saw this just recently and I really liked it. RCAA has went through a lot over the years. The history, there's been lots of challenges, lots of changes over the years. And then this was the original mission of RCAA, was to graduate capable and caring young adults for whom education is not a chore, but a tool to reach their goals they have set for themselves as a result of self-discovery and a culture that values them. Now, I put this picture of Harley down there because Harley did not attend first semester anywhere. She didn't go to school. And her brother Killian, she was supposed to be at Beloit Memorial High School, and her brother Killian was supposed to be at McNeil, and neither of those kids attended. Harley's mother is a hairdresser, and Scott was getting his hair done by Harley's mom, and she was sharing her frustrations with her kids not going to school. Scott said, "Why don't you bring them over by us?" And they both came over, they've enrolled, and they are there every day, and they're thriving. And they're not the only 2 kids like that. We have a handful of kids that were not attending at all, and now are coming to our school, and they're thriving. Because even though the school district is offering amazing things in our traditional ed, 4 through 8 and K4 through 3, some kids get lost in those great big settings. They just don't do well. They get lost, they're nervous, they're scared, they just don't do well. And she's one of them. Her brother was one of them, and we actually have many in our program that are one of them. But in a setting like ours, that's small and intimate and cares, and his family, they do really, really well. So I just wanted to put Harley on there because I'm just really pleased that she's been attending every day. So now what? We are moving. We have a new home. We're going to write the Beloit Learning Academy. We're excited about that. We're working with a designer. Actually, I was hoping to have the plan even by today. It's been taking a long time. They've been working on it for about a month. It's crazy. Anyways, oh well. New staff, as I said, Scott's leaving. We have hired Elizabeth Watson, who is a science teacher from Beloit Learning Academy. And this is super cool because we've needed science. And so she's not only going to bring that scientific piece that we need, but she's also from Beloit Learning Academy. So she's going to bridge that gap between our programs. And I think she's going to be such a great asset to our team and then also provide that bridge, from the one program to the next. We're going to have lots of new practices. What we've been doing, what they've done in the past isn't what we're going to be doing in the future. There's going to be lots of changes. New culture. And how can we serve you service learning? We would love to do more expeditions because Roy Chapman Andrews, it was an explorer. He was a discoverer. He is known for that. And one of the things that I wondered about when I came there is why are we not doing some expeditions and some discovery? Why are we doing everything just sitting on a computer? And so we really are wanting to do some thematic units where we are doing some discovery, and what better place to discover than Beloit, Wisconsin? Those of us that have been here for a long time know that this is the greatest city ever, anywhere. We love it. It's innovative. It's always moving. It's got vision. The people that live here that have gone to school here and work here, we love this community. And we need our children to love this community as well. So we have lots of ideas about taking our kids out into our community, doing some service, sowing some seeds of service, and they're going to discover Beloit. And they're going to learn while they're doing that. They're going to be learning their math and their science and their social studies and their English language arts during that opportunity to discover Beloit. These are just a few things that are coming. This is a quote by Roy Chapman Andrews. Always there has been an adventure just around the corner, and the world is full of corners, and we're about to round another one. So, thanks.
John Aiken, please.
Tina, thank you for that candid and interesting presentation. It was great. And I think that one of the things that I'm hearing is that we continue to recognize the unique nature of Roy Chapman Andrews, both in terms of it being a charter school and in terms of it being centered on project-based learning. And as we continue to emphasize the unique nature of that, that's going to be something that's going to be a real jewel in our crown. So we appreciate that. And so anyway, thank you. And by the way, in case anybody's wondering if we're just making it a criteria now that any new principals we hire have to be named Tina, that's not true. But anyway, thank you. Oh, one other thing, I'm sorry. The Destination Imagination at Morgan School is raising funds. And talk with any of the professional educators or parents that are involved at Morgan School, and you can find out about a website you can go to, and you can make donations to help fund the Destination Imagination trip to state.
Thank you, John. John, want to come in, please?
Just a quick question. So as we've explored the charter over the many years, one of the conversations we have is that the charter gives opportunity for people to come from other districts to Beloit, right, or from other places to come to Beloit. Do you have a sense of numbers in your head of kind of how many Beloiters are in the charter and how many others we attract because we're doing such a great job?
I think that right now we're strictly Beloit.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to stay strictly Beloit, but right now we are. I believe that as we continue to grow, that we will have something really extraordinary to market, and we will bring in numbers from outside the Beloit community, most definitely. We're working on a video right now. We've got kids putting something together. We're going to be meeting at the 4-5 buildings, I believe next week. We've pulled all of the open enrolled students at middle school and high school levels, so we're going to be sending information to them. We're going to do just a small open house this year at the Roy Chapman building, but once we get over to our new site and we really get it the way we want, we're going to start bringing people in and really just showcasing what we have. So It's going to grow. You watch.
Nora, please.
It's been my privilege to work with you on the board of the governing board of our CAA. Tina hasn't been in her position a year yet. It's only been about 9 months, I think. And in that 9 months, you have taken the vision and you've built upon it and you've expanded it and you've gone through all the changes that you've mentioned there. But it is a wonderful community to work with, and everybody is flexible and wanting to do their best. And I want to just thank you for sharing your vision, your passion, your energy, and really moving us in the direction that we need to be there at our CAA. And then coming over to BLA, the Beloit Learning Academy, that's going to be another challenge, but also I think it will open up a lot of opportunities. And I agree with you. I do think that it will be expanding outside of the Beloit district, school district. Thank you.
And you're welcome. And you know, and some of you who know me, I've always been a little outside the box myself. I'm a very non-traditional learner, and I'm a non-traditional adult. So I really enjoy working with those populations that just don't fit the norm. That suits me really well. So, thank you.
I just want to say thank you to both of you for sharing with us tonight. And I think that what we've heard and what you've shared with us in the district is your passion for learning and your passion for your students. Regardless of what grade they are or where they're coming from, ultimately you both care about the end result. And that's the student and the student's family. And that shows with what you shared with us tonight and what you're doing, most importantly in the buildings with the families and the students. And I also want to say thank you for your patience through our change and our evolution of us as a district. And we know that the reconfiguration and the moving and the building processes are difficult. And they're difficult, and change is always difficult, especially with our students and our parents. So, and of course our staff for their understanding. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you for being patient with us as a board and us as a district. And we're Beloit proud to have you on board and taking our district to that next level.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Let's move forward then with reports to the board. And first up, we have student board member report. Over to you guys.
Okay, so we have increscents from last month because we were both, I think, coming to that meeting, and then, yeah, so I don't know if you...
Yeah, it's that one. It's that one.
What?
The picture of me.
Oh, okay, yeah, so this is from March, but yeah, that was last month. So, yeah, we couldn't make it to that meeting, so we'll just leave these here. Prom is next weekend, and that's very exciting since that's like the last hurrah for our seniors. And then we have a night choir concert on May 18th that we're really hoping that a lot of people from the community come because, as expected with a lot of choir concerts, only parents come, and that's understandable, but I think these kids have worked really hard, and they would love to see a huge audience. I think it would make them feel like rock stars, because a lot of them already think they are. So I think I really hope we can get a lot of the community out for that. I mean, some of these kids, they came in there and they'd never even sang, and it took them a few weeks, but we got them to sing, and some of them now are working on solos, so if you come, you can watch their solo performances, and it's really exciting. So please, anyone in the community, if you can try to come to that, it's May 18th in the auditorium. I think it's at 7. That's a Sunday, so it might be at 2. Actually, I'll let you know. So I can get back to you on that. And then, what was the third thing?
You did 3. I can do it.
I did it? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
And then the lead story on this in Crescent is Dr. Johnson and him leaving Beloit Memorial. And the student reaction to that is like the kids are disappointed that he's leaving the school, but they're all really excited that he's staying in the district. And I personally had the opportunity to meet the new principal, and she seems like a great person, and so I'm excited for what's to come. I won't be there for it, but I think good things are going to be happening. That's definitely something to look forward to. And then also, it's a real exciting time at the school, especially for upperclassmen. AP tests are coming up, so a lot of hard work still coming up, and then a lot of college decisions are being made or put off.
It is not being put off. Excuse me.
Some people have a few decisions. Some people have some decisions left to
Hard
make.
decisions.
Yeah, so
Life-changing.
So there's a lot going on, a lot of stress. But you know, we all know we're on the home stretch, and so we're excited too.
Graduation's June 7th.
And what can you tell me about Senior Skip Day?
Friday before.
Really?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's May 23rd.
Is that the day? Or is that the Memorial Day weekend?
I'll be looking for a district response on that one, please. Any questions for our student board members? Seeing none, then thank you very much. Let's move forward with reports to the board. First, or continuing on with reports to the board. First up, we have committee reports. John Winkleman, please.
Thank you, Shannon. Finance met on April 8th and had a number of items on our agenda. To move through those, we had some purchase orders we reviewed. We did spend some interesting time talking about what's called a community eligibility provision. Thank you to Janelle for bringing that to us. It is a federal program. Thank you. She's shaking her head yes. So federal program that will give us the opportunity. We already provide free lunch or free breakfast in the district, and this will give us an opportunity to provide lunch as well as breakfast. What a great thing for all of the students in Beloit. And so more to come on that as it rolls itself out. But we all were excited to hear about this, and it's a great opportunity for the kids in Beloit to be able to do this. So we also then spent a little bit of time talking about meal prices, and as some people know, that is an issue for some of us because there are rules if you're participating in the federal programs, and the federal rules say you must charge X amount of money even if you don't necessarily have to. So we are doing our due diligence and charging appropriately, even though some of us don't want to do that. So there'll be a little bit of raise in the meal prices as we move into next year. The staff came to us with a recommendation that we do a proposal for kitchen equipment service, and that contract is going to sit in front of us tonight as we moved it forward. We did an RFP for video surveillance systems. We have a number of those at various schools. It helps keep us safe, helps keep us in touch with what's going on. But as we go through time, the technology gets better and our equipment gets older. And so it's time to step back and relook at that and upgrade where we need to upgrade. Janelle did a wonderful job sharing with us some impacts about vouchers and charter schools on the impact to us in terms of state aid. I think the bottom line is that money moves away from public schools like us to charters or to the voucher schools in a disproportionate amount. And in some cases, if you're thinking about Milwaukee charters, very obvious in our school formula where you can actually point to it and see it. In some of the voucher and other charters, it's not quite as obvious, but it's still there. And so it's an important piece for all of us in the community to think about. It's important as we talk to our legislators about it, because it's not necessarily supporting the efforts of public schools. It is a very targeted message about what's being supported right now. So, and we can point to that and point out the details on that. We accepted a grant from Lowe's. Thank you very much to them. That will come through. It's for Hackett playground equipment. So as you go visit our new Hackett school, eventually you're going to see some new playground equipment. Thanks to the staff who applied for that. Our monthly budget adjustments came through, so we'll see those tonight. We did a waiver of rental fees for the NAACP, for University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh, and for a baseball program in the summer. And that was our work.
Thank you, John. Any questions or concerns or comments for John? Seeing none? Oh, Missy, please. Oh.
We have this community free lunch for everyone. If we have free lunch and breakfast for everyone, are we still raising prices for no one? Who's asked that?
I think the caveat on the price raise was, as that comes through, we won't have a cost for them, but there's still other prices that need to go in there, adult prices, those kinds of things, and those needed to go up.
Okay, thank you.
All right, then let's move forward to curriculum and instruction with John Acom, please.
The Curriculum and Instruction Committee met on April 8th,
And we began by reviewing progress on our grants, which is always a project near and dear to my heart. And we then looked at new textbook adoption for AP U.S. History. And now we already have an AP U.S. History course, but in its essence, in conjunction with changes made at the College Board level, we are upgrading or modernizing, as you may think, and improving our AP history, American history. And we are coming up with a brand new textbook. And the title is Give Me Liberty, followed by an exclamation point, and in American history. So I love the Patrick Henry reference. I was already sort of pre-sold based on the title alone. But it's interesting, this book and this course encompasses a lot of years of U.S. history and an awful lot of events, many of which are vital and important to our history. And in order to make sense of this, in order to have continuity, in order to contain it all, this is a real challenge. And this new textbook rises to the challenge, and I'm very excited about it. I think that an already great course is going to become even greater, and that's something very exciting. So that approval of the purchase of that new text is coming to the board later this evening. We also talked about a new proposal. The governor recently signed a bill which allows 7th and 8th graders to take courses for high school credit. And there's a variety of rigorous requirements included. They must be taught by someone who's certified to teach the course in high school. They must have the same kind of content courses it has in content area covered as the high school course. And so it's not something easily done. Because, again, you need the certification to teach both 7th and 8th graders, and also the certification to teach the course in high school. And nevertheless, this is something that we have pledged to take very seriously look very seriously at, and we're going to put our toe in the water, and we're going to do this. I don't anticipate that it'll happen this fall, but I do anticipate that it's going to happen. I anticipate that we're going to look at it. I don't think we're going to offer the full array of courses that are possible to offer on this program all at once. And again, it's limited. For example, English is not part of it, but part of it can be math and science. And those are probably the two most common areas where this is done. This is done in other states, and we can look at the experience of other states and see how they've done it and see how they've managed it, and recognize, on the other hand, that there may be some unique requirements in Wisconsin that don't apply in the other states, and we have to make it work for Wisconsin. We have to make it work for our school district. So this is a path that we've just started down. At this point in time, it's conversation. There's no board action being brought at this time, but it's something that I personally champion, and I'm looking forward to seeing us continue down this road. And then also youth options, which will be voted on later on this evening. And youth options, just to refresh memory, is something we vote on every year. And this is essentially opportunities for our kids to take courses that are not offered at our high school. Typically, they're courses beyond the level where we teach advanced courses that they may be taking at Beloit College, or they may be specific courses training for specific professions, which are offered at Blackhawk Tech, or other courses at UROC also we have. And in some cases, these courses are taught in our building, and in other cases, the student goes to the campus. So again, the youth options is coming for approval later this evening. So all of these things are coming up, and we had a good meeting, and that's what we did.
Thank you, John. John Winckelmann, please.
John, just a question. So I think about the teaching the high school course being taught at the 7th grade, 8th grade level. To me, that starts to rain flags of dollars and money, because we're going to have to pay difference. We're going to potentially pay a different teacher to be there. So is there money coming with that program that says, hey, you're going to get to do this?
No, there's not money coming with the program, but I suspect that the way we're going to address it is a little different from what you just said. I expect it to be addressed by the fact that we're going to have some of our teachers get
additional certifications so that they are certified in both. We actually do have a few teachers that already are certified in both. And so it'll be the same teachers, a finite group of kids, so there won't be more kids, but they'll be divided a little differently based upon interest, and the teachers will be teachers who have the dual certification. So, and those dual certification teachers may also exist in our high school and be interested in some point in the future in this opportunity as well.
Other questions, comments, or concerns for John? Seeing none, Nora with Policy and Personnel, please.
The Policy and Personnel Committee meets twice a month. We meet before the business meeting, and we meet the second Tuesday of every month. So we met on August, my goodness. It's warm out, but it's not August. We met on March 25th before the business meeting to approve personnel recommendations. And personnel recommendations can be retirements, it can be resignations, or new hires. So that's part of the reason why we meet twice a month. But the first meeting of the month, we also include a number of policy updates. So we met on April 8th, and we have 11 policies coming to us tonight that are first readings, and we have 5 policies that are coming to us as second readings. So on April 8th, we discussed also hiring a 4th through 8th math coordinator, and this coordinator will be putting together the working with other staff to collaborate to make sure that our 4th through 8th graders are getting the math, that it's unified throughout the district. And our first policy readings, the first group of them have to do with busing. So it's conduct on the bus rider rules, discipline procedures, and video cameras on the bus. Also, we have anti-bullying coming to us tonight as a first reading, and we have a variety of other things having to do with food service, other transportation, and naming of the schools. That will be mostly our first reading for policies. Our second reading policies include the specific graduation requirements. We have some changes in our requirements from the state. And one of the policies that is coming to us tonight, we're going to be increasing for graduation requirements 1 unit of math and 1 unit of science. I believe it's for the year 2016 that this will be in effect for. And we are going to look at a second reading for the e-cigarette enforcement. We're kind of ahead of other districts in looking at e-cigarettes and the policies for our district. And we have some other policies, one on kitchen facility use. We have the new kitchens, and so we want to make sure that we have our policies updated to allow the community to use the kitchen facilities, and all of us being on the same page. Then we're going to have some personnel recommendations for tonight as well. We continue to update our policies, and we will have a few coming from the personnel area of policies, just to kind of clean up some of our language there next month. And we may have some policies on our nursing and our emergency nursing services as well. So that's all I have for my report.
Thank you, Nora. Are there any questions or concerns or comments for Nora? Seeing none, let's move forward then with the consent list, please.
Move approval.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. We are now at community eligibility provision, please.
Move approval.
Second.
Seeing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Meal prices for 2014-2015.
Move approval.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Kitchen equipment request for service request for proposal.
I move approval of the RFP for kitchen equipment service requests and video surveillance system requests.
Thank you for D&E.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. Lowe's Charitable and Educational Foundation Grant Award Acceptance, please.
Second.
Discussion?
With gratitude.
Thank you. Yes, definitely with gratitude. All those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. Budget adjustments, please.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Nora has a discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry, Nora.
Okay. I know we had some discussion in your committee meeting, but I may have not been here for this. I'm looking on page 83, and I'm looking at support sources for pupil services. And I'm just wondering, is that for special needs students, that figure for pupil services and instructional staff services, that there's quite an increase there?
Do you have a front number, Nora? What number? 22,000?
210 and then 3 zeros. Pupil services, and 220, followed by 3 zeros. Right at the top.
Second.
Under support
Right.
sources.
Yeah.
Bolton area.
I take that as that's the staff in that area.
Okay. Is
Right.
that it? Okay.
Is that right?
I just,
Yep.
that one just kind of struck me, and I wondered what that was. Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Advanced Placement U.S. History Instructional Materials Adoption.
Move adoption.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Youth options for first semester 2014-2015.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries.
I would move the policies for first reading as a block, 1 through 11. Student conduct on buses, bus rider rules, bus discipline procedures, video cameras on the school bus, anti-bullying, supervisory nepotism, sports services goals, transportation, extracurricular activities, food service, nutritional guidelines, and office services management, and naming of schools and other buildings, Rule 950, Rule 1, procedures for naming schools.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? We are moving 11 policies. These are first readings, so if there's anybody listening that would like to learn more, these are all available online for what we are looking at and the changes that are being proposed. Please feel free to log in, not even log in, just go out to the website and view those. John Acom, please.
Just one thing real quick. I want to, for the benefit of those of you who are watching, I want to highlight one of these policies is an anti-bullying policy. We have an anti-bullying policy. We've been very, very active for a number of years in combating bullying in our schools, and I think we've been successful. And this is just an update of the policy based upon some suggestions that come from DPI. But please don't get the impression that we're just now getting around to worrying about this. We've been on it for a long time.
Thank you, John. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? The motion does carry. Moving forward with policies for second reading, please. 345.6, Rule 1, specific graduation requirements.
Second.
Discussion? Thank you to the work of cleaning that up a bit and getting us forward what we need to have. The one question I did have is there's a budgetary amount for 1 FTE. And I understand that we are requiring an additional class, but what I don't, and maybe I'm not phrasing this the best way, not all of our students, we have a lot of students that are taking more than the required classes to graduate right now. So will we truly be equating to a full FTE, knowing that the majority of our students are already taking the additional credit that we will now be requiring for graduation?
But not everybody.
You know, the quick answer to that is it's really arbitrary. It's hard to tell exactly until all the signups are done and you get this, you know, you determine staffing by sign up of courses from the kids. So right now you're still in that kind of vague area to find out how much of an effect that will have. So I will be able to answer that more specifically as we go along.
And we're making this change because this is a mandate that has come to us from the state. And so the FTE that we're looking at, the potential cost allocation, is something that we must do. And it's our worst case possible financial implication to the district, correct?
That's correct, thank you.
Excellent, thank you very much. So
Nora.
John, Nora, please.
I just want to clarify on page 137, it states that this would up our required units to 27, and actually it's 26.
So are you
Just to
making a
clarify.
friendly amendment
Well-
then to, because we're adopting it as published?
And as it's published, it's not added up. It just, but on the verbiage, on page 138, it isn't added up to 26 credits. I mean, when you add it up, it's 26 credits, but if you read the reason for the changes on page 137, it mentions 27 credits. So I just want to clarify, there's no changes in the policy, it's just that.
Understood. Okay, so for
Okay.
topical information, paragraph C.
Yes.
Understood. Thank you, Nora. Other questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion does carry. We're at 443, 447, Code of Conduct and new policy 443.3 e-cigarette enforcement regulation.
Move approval. Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Moving us to 443.4, Rule 1, alcohol and/or other controlled substance enforcement regulations, please.
Move approval.
Second.
Seeing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. 764, food safety.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. And finally, 830, Rule 2, kitchen facility use, please.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion does carry. Moving us to personnel recommendations.
Move approval.
Discussion?
4-8, right?
Of today's, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
right? Okay.
definitely.
All right.
I think it's important that we note that we have a couple of folks that are leaving after, 24 years, 21 years, 15 years. So with thanks as they go. Thanks to all who have been here, but those have been here for quite a while. So I think we should make sure we note that.
Definitely. Thank you, John. Others? With that, all those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. We are now at items for discussion. Are there any items of interest for consideration at future meetings? John?
Just one. So I've been thinking about this since test scores came out, and I know we're going to get more thoughts from staff as they've analyzed them, because that's what they do, is they analyze data and think carefully about it. But, the conversation tonight from Tina and from Tina's, both Tina's, right, prompted me to think about, okay, so we're using the test that Morgan's using, right? It's nationally normed. It's got some data that says, hey, we're doing pretty good. And then our own MAPS test that we use. And there's a couple of other tests that I know we use throughout the district where we have data that says, here's where we are, we seem like we're doing pretty good. In fact, our gap might be smaller. All those things are good. I guess I'm as we move forward to that discussion, I would like us not to forget that we do those, that we keep those on the table. And if there's a way to kind of treat WKCE as a data point as opposed to the data point, because I think that's part of the conversations I'm having out in the community is it is the data point, and I say, but wait, we do all these other things. No, we don't hear about any of that. So I think it's important that we get that. This was wonderful this happened tonight, because, I can go back and talk about, hey, look at where we are at Morgan and what they're doing, and there's others doing that. And so for me, that's an important point to be able to think about. So as we have that conversation, I would welcome a kind of a broader, and staff know this far better than the rest of us. So if you could kind of keep us into that as that comes forward. Thank you.
Anybody? Thank you, John. Michael?
Several years ago when I was chairing, we got these iPads and talked about, the move to going paperless, and at the time we looked at a management system for online work. Now that we're kind of more focused now in doing things electronically, I think at some point in the near future, I would like for us to have another discussion about possibly using some kind of, management system with how we deal with things electronically. I think it would be nice for us to revisit it and talk about some of the things that are out there. You know, because it can be a little bit cumbersome with what we're doing, having to go to 4 different menus to get stuff. You know, it's just worth the conversation.
Definitely. Thank you, Michael. Any other items of interest for consideration at future meetings? Seeing none, announcement of future board meeting dates. We will have our organizational meeting on May the 6th, 2014, and I'm going to self-indulge myself just here as a second and say thank you to my board members for the last 3 years of allowing me and having faith in me to lead you as your chair. And best of luck to whomever our new board president is, and that will be determined during our organizational meeting, again, that will be held on May the 6th of 2014. We will have our regularly scheduled committee meetings on May the 13th, which will include finance, transportation, and property, curriculum and instruction, and policy and personnel. And our next scheduled business meeting, which will be held by your new president, will be on May 27th of 2014. Unless there are any objections at this point, we shall be adjourned. See, Nora? 6 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And John Aiken, please.
Okay, up until now, I hadn't really focused on this, but are we then not going to have a special board meeting on May the 13th? Because all the stuff that would be in that special board meeting is to be covered on May the 6th? Is that the, is that the plan?
Too soon to tell.
Okay.
On May the 6th, it's my understanding, and while the agenda has not been confirmed as of yet, May the 6th is, the intent of that is strictly for an organizational meeting.
So then we would need a special meeting on 13th.
And that's typically, normally, our committee meetings have as an adjunct a special board meeting, and they're not normally published separate until we actually publish the agenda. So kind of just the same typical as we've always seen. But again, you'll have a new president that can walk through that.
Sure.
So unless there are any further objections, comments, or concerns, folks, we shall be adjourned. See you none. Thank you, everybody.